Can you tell I just woke up? So I thought today would be a good catch up. I might have yesterday cheated and gone to the pureed food stage a little early. I meant to do it today, only one day early. My blood sugars were extremely low throughout the night. Not this night, but yesterday night. I mean, I was 3.3 or 3.2, 3 point something like that at 12. And then again at 2 o'clock, I was still 3 point something. And then at 6 o'clock, I was still 3 point something. And I was just like over trying to keep my blood sugars up on liquids. It was only one day out, so I thought, can't be the end of the world. I just went really gently. I had a little bit of asparagus along with some smoked fish. It's actually got a lot of cream cheese in that, to be honest, and cottage cheese. Now, my body has got rashes all over it from where all the plasters have been. Lumps and grossness, and I've got scars from all the from where the tape. I'm allergic to stickies, and I got absolutely covered in stickies, and so now I've got rashes everywhere. And let's see if you can see. It's actually all lumpy, the whole lot. It's all lumpy. It's like, look at the skin coming off. It's nasty. It's really nasty. Can't really help it. I'll be taking all my antihistamines. Oh, Pudding is right here, by the way. Hey, Pudding. Hello. Yep, she doesn't like the phone. She was really weird about the phone. So, what I have been eating, I'll give you a little snapshot. Blah. So I've actually got some, I still have to chew this up really well. I've got some mushy peas, like out of the can, mushy peas. Very English. And this, I've got a little bit of smoked tuna, and I have cottage cheese, which I blitzed up. And I've mixed in some chicken into that. The chicken I've mixed in. Obviously I did not mix that very well, so I just chew it really, really, really well. It's still probably a little bit fibrous. And then you can move up for this one. Pumpkin soup in this one, but it's not the pumpkin I'm allergic to because there's actually no pumpkin really in it. Actually, I'm allergic to pumpkin, but I have to be really careful. This doesn't harm me, but then again, I've got rashes all over my body, so who knows. So I'm just having little bits, and as soon as my stomach has a little pang, I'm like, I gotta put it away. And then like half an hour later, I'll go back and have a little, just like I just did then. That cup of soup will be cold by the time I finish it. It's definitely for sure. But I've been drinking a lot of cup of soups. Cream of chicken, baby. Cream of chicken. Oh, that saved me in the hospital. Absolutely saved me. Let's talk about the hospital. I sort of want to lay some complaints, but then I also don't, because I don't want anyone getting in trouble, because it's a cultural thing. It's not a personal thing. The culture of the hospital is, let's be loud at any hour of the day. Doesn't matter. Any hour of the night, doesn't matter. Walking in at 11 o'clock at night while people are trying to sleep. Hey, what's up? How you doing? People are trying to sleep. People are sick. People are in the hospital because they're sick and they're trying to sleep. There's this weird music thing that kept, it's a small world after all, playing that song over and over and over. I was ready to jump out a window. I was sick of the hospital. I was getting antsy. I'd only had 3 hours sleep on that last night. I could bite somebody if they fucking looked at me wrong. So the first 3 days and 2 nights, I was pretty much only allowed out of bed to pee. I had to pee in a little, what are those little cardboard bedpans. The only problem is I was on a liquid diet, so therefore I had liquid coming out the other end. It is very hard to pee in a little wee thingy that's sitting in the toilet. Remove that, sit back on the toilet, let out the other liquid, put the seat back up, put the bedpan back in, pee. So I ended up just squatting. Like, I'd put the bedpan on the ground and I just squat into it like Asian styles. There was no point in picking it up and putting it back and picking it up. And it was like, I'd just been out of surgery. I have holes. Like, you can probably see one there. I've taken the bandage off, sorry. I've got holes. I wasn't really in the mood to hop up and sit down, hop up and sit down so often. And I was that dehydrated. Like, I lost 4 kgs in 24 hours. I lost 2 kgs of liquid weight in 8 hours overnight. And I drank half a litre because I measured it. So it means I peed 2.5 litres overnight. And that's why I was so dehydrated when I went into hospital. I got diabetic ketosis, whatever it is. And what it was is on Sunday I was very low in my blood sugar, so I didn't take any of my insulins because I didn't want to have a hypo, and that threw me into DKA. And what can I say? I ended up in hospital pretty quick. Yeah, the first 3 days I was pretty much bedridden, considering the surgeon and everybody else the week, not even a week before, was like, walk as much as possible, get up and walk, get up and walk. You've got a high blood clot risk for the next, I think it's 3 months or a month or something. So they want me up walking, and then I was put on pretty much bed rest. I wasn't allowed out of bed, and I had drips coming out of every bloody arm, and I was attached to the heart monitor, and the usually it's on your finger, but I had an ear one, and I was hooked up. The staff were all lovely. The staff are lovely. They're great. They're really good. That's why I don't want to say it's a personal thing. Not any of them are going out of their way to harm anyone, but it's a cultural thing because the culture is of the building seems to be very loud. The first night I was there, this upset me. So I went in at like 9 o'clock in the morning. The first night I was there, about I don't know what time. I think it was about 5 o'clock. Dinner turned up. Beautiful dinner. Big portions. Big hunk of roast chicken. Like there's 4 carrots, like whole carrots, been peeled and boiled or something. Broccoli. I'm going to guess there was mashed potato somewhere under that, and some gravy, because this place they feed you. They're good. Ice cream and jelly. Now I don't mean small portions either. These are pretty chunkin portions. I can't eat. I've had my stomach removed, or 85% of it ish. I was on liquid diet. That morning, while at home, I'd had probably about a teaspoon. I tell people about a tablespoon, but let's be real, about a teaspoon of jelly, sugar-free jelly. And as soon as I got to the hospital, they took my Gatorade off me, my sugar-free Gatorade, and they were like, water only. We have to measure how much you're putting in and measure how much you're putting out. Hence why I was measuring my urine. Yeah. Thankfully, my sister came in and she saved me, because after several hours, I finally got a nurse, and I know they're all there, but they're always busy, so you can never really approach them. Now, on that first day, I'd had the dietitian come in and say that I was going to get given Diasip, and that will be what I'm theoretically eating while I'm in there. They could not find any. I'm okay with that. They couldn't find any. I wasn't told I was allowed anything like tea or coffee, nothing like that. I was on water. Not 11 hours later, thankfully, the nurse was like, "Oh, we don't have anything for you. We can't plan that you're going to be here." 11 hours. I'd been there 11 hours. She said she couldn't plan that we were going to be there and I was going to need a food. So they didn't have any. They didn't have any food for me, like liquid, no beef broth, no anything. She said she did find this, and she found a very thick, I mean, it looked like mashed potato thick cup of pumpkin soup. Now, I would be allergic to that because that actually is pumpkin. It's not fake like that. It is actual pumpkin. You could see that it was like mashed potato pumpkin. Yeah, so she's like, "Oh, I'm sorry, there's nothing you can have. Us water." So thankfully my sister was able to run off to a supermarket before they shut, and she was able to get me some hot chocolate with sugar-free, some milk, which I was allowed, and cup of soups. Creamy chicken cup of soup. Yeah. Yeah, so if you're sick, creamy chicken that. It's good. It's good. Yeah, so I'm going to move that a bit closer because you're actually really far away. There we go. That's a bit better. So I was hangry, very hangry that first night, and yeah, a bit worried. At one stage, early in the morning, because if you're diabetic, you'll know that in my country, in between 4.2 and 8 is the recommended blood sugar level. Under 4.2, you're not allowed to drive a vehicle in my country, so I class it as you're not mentally capable enough to do anything. They were, because I was on an insulin slide, where they were giving me glucose and really quick acting insulin just to get me out of DKA. They were aiming for 3 for my blood sugars, and when I was told this at 4 o'clock in the morning by the nurse, I had a panic attack because I don't do well at 3. I'm shaking. I am hot and shivery, and all my muscles are loose. I can't move at 3. I don't do 3. I was 4.3 at the time, and she said, "Oh, no, it's okay, we can go to 3. I'm just like, no. And so I picked a tiff, and she ended up unhooking the insulin thingy, and then I got told off by the doctor for that. And they were like, "Oh, there's a bit of paper that says like we're allowed to go to 3. I'm like, no. These were things would have been nice to be discussed with me beforehand. It's really annoying. You get treated like an absolute child while you're at the hospital. Like, I wasn't even allowed to hold on to any of my medications. When I went to go take my insulin, they'd be like, fucking checking it to make sure it is what it is. Like, it's what it is. And then I have to show them how many units, and they watch me taking it. It's like, serious. I wasn't even allowed to hold on to my paracetamol. Everything was taken off of me apart from my inhaler and my needles. And yeah, good luck trying to get them off of me. When I went to leave, I thought, no, they're going to fuck up something. They just are, okay? They are. So after 3 hours, I was told I could leave. So about 3 hours later, they finally gave me my medication. And I was like, "Where's the tramadol, the they class it as a restricted drug. They'd forgotten to give it back to me, so they deeply apologized and went and found it and gave it to me. It's one of those drugs that all the doctors are like, no, you can't have this, it's restricted, you're going to get addicted. No. I haven't taken any since I was the day after I got out of the hospital, so I haven't taken any in a few days. I can't be that addicted, considering I've got like 40 pills sitting in my little medication box. Like, can't be that addictive. Yeah, I started getting really, everything was bugging me in there, everything. But then again, I was on low sleep and I was hangry. I just wanted to get home. I was bored, so freaking bored. So the last day I was in the hospital, I was allowed to get up and walk around. But guess what? There's no fucking where to walk around. I wasn't allowed to go anywhere. Yeah. God, that annoys me. Yeah. And on top of it, I felt really bad because my roommate at the time, lovely lady, her daughter was a 5-hour drive away and not able to pick her up to take her back home. The ambulance had driven her an hour and a half to get to the hospital where we're at and just left her. And they were like, taxi. It's going to be like $800 for that fucking taxi. Seriously. It costs $200 to go from the hospital to where my parents live. My parents are only 20 minutes from the hospital. She's an hour and a half. Yeah, it's going to be like $800. So, I went up to the counter. I'm like, hey, listen, do you not have a shuttle or some other way to get this lovely lady home? Because it's the ring here tax. And like, oh, well, that's what's done is what's done. Later on, one of the nurses came in and was talking, and I sort of butted in, yeah, like $800 for the taxi. And she's like, what? I'm like, yeah, she doesn't live close. And so thankfully that lovely lady went back and must have gone in a few people's ears, and they started arranging a ride for her home. I shouldn't have had to get to that stage. I don't feel like they're like, oh, it needs 24 hours notice to be able to arrange the health shuttle and all this kind of stuff. I'm like, well, it's not really good enough. Somebody must be going up there. Mental health staff go up there every freaking night. Why can't she hitch a ride with one of them? You know, it shouldn't be that hard. Next ambulance up, anything. But yeah, so my hospital stay was so fucking boring. And so I get straight out of hospital, and then what do? Start cooking. So I've been cooking heaps of stuff at my parents' house. And then the day before, I moved back here. And because of that, I had to pack all my car up, unpack all my car, went into town, get some potting mix. Thankfully, a lovely lady from the warehouse was able to put all my potting mix in my car for me, and I was able to get my niece to get it all out. I'm still not allowed to lift, I think. People haven't actually told me when I can lift again. Internet says 6 weeks. Oh, sorry, the piece of paper I read says 6 weeks, but I don't believe that. It's a long time. I've already pulled some of my... I'll show you. Now, I apologise. My clothing ain't that nice. My pants are... The pants are a bit too loose these days. Okay, so on my stomach... Look at that scar. That's one of them. These other ones I have not pulled off, and there's that one right there. That's all lumpy, that one. This one's nice and smooth. Well, it's lumpy, but it's still smoothly lumpy. So it's not too bad. I did some lawns the other day. That sort of hurt. I don't think I should have done that. I have to do more lawns. It's all about the lawns. Always worrying about my lawns. So I've got today and tomorrow, and I'm hoping it's sunny tomorrow so I can. I think there was a pudding. That there was a pudding. Yeah. Got to do my lawns. I'm so happy to be onto the stage of pureed foods, soft foods for 2 weeks. I feel like there's a big in between of soft and pureed. Not a big in between, sorry. Like, theoretically, if you chew it really well, it's all pureed, right? Right? I'm getting stomach acid. They changed my medication from an anti-reflux pill that I normally would have to a milder one, and so I've been getting acid every day. Also, quite often you get like a hernia above your stomach. I did not have one of them. There was a good chance I did, and the surgeon said I didn't. He was going to fix it if it wasn't there, but I don't, so yay. Makes me a bit more worried about why I've got such bad bile. I've been dealing with that for years, and it's just been a bit painful. Like, enough that I'll just start vomiting acid. It's a lot of acid. Do not worry, that blue tin of cookies has been there for like 2 or 3 years. I do not eat them. They're like those weird wafer thingies that you can put in milkshakes and stuff. I got them a long time ago, and I just don't. I suppose they're okay, but you only want 1 or 2, and then it's like, ugh, there's a whole tin of them. So I really should just throw them out. I am such a hoarder. I'm such a hoarder. But so yeah, I've been drinking a lot of Gatorade. Do I prefer the berry, which to me tastes like strawberry, not just berry, or do I prefer the blue? I think I actually prefer the pink one. It's probably because I can only find pink half the time. Is it Mountain Blast or something, the blue one? Glacier Freeze. Yeah, so I'm definitely berry person. Just tastes like strawberry, like a strawberry water. I still haven't unpacked from moving back home, so I went to live with my parents while I recovered both times. So I feel the surgery went really well. It was the complications of my weird diabetes that threw this all out. Well, it took 4 days out of my recovery that I was going to be spending doing stuff at home, like going through all my clothing and stuff, because I got bags and bags and bags of clothing that doesn't fit me anymore. So these pants that I'm wearing, I'll turn that a little bit, sorry about the mess. These pants, they are way too loose. So that's not stretched. That is literally how much. So this sits very low, and they sit, they fall down. When I walk around, I've actually got pegs. I've got pegs that I'll just like, just to keep them where they're meant to be, because they just flop down. You can see how loose that is already. Yeah. I I need to buy some new clothes, that's for sure. I do have 2 pairs of pants that are a few sizes smaller than this, and I was wearing them at the hospital, but they almost feel a little bit big now. A pair of pants I was wearing before my op, if I bent over, I could feel a zip crack a little bit because they were tight, and now they're not tight. Like they're still form fitting, but there's a fair bit of give. There's a lot of looseness in them now. I haven't lost any weight on the scale. Well, I sort of have. Okay, I'm going to talk about figures now. So I am so sorry. I'm apologising to myself as well because nobody wants to hear weights. Nobody wants to say, oh, you're fat because you're that heavy and stuff like that. My heaviest I got was 2021 Christmas. That night after having a good feed. Ooh, good feed. My sister baked a ham and holy shit, was it good. I could have eaten the whole fucking ham. I think I did. I was 148.8, and that will be stuck in my head forever, that number, 148.8. That was my heaviest I ever weighed. Pre-op, before the pre-op diet and all that, I was 120-ish. I had got down to about 111-ish, but then I went to Christchurch for a weekend and I ate normal food and I put on 10 kg. Not even joking. And then it just stayed on. I just could not move it. Like I dropped a couple of kg, but then I put it back on. I dropped a couple of kgs and it was just waffling. Wasn't doing anything. So pre-diet I was about 120-ish, give or take, 118 to 125. I waffled. And then I was on the Optifast diet for 3 weeks and I lost about 10 kg. I got to 111 was the day of the surgery. I literally stood on the scales in the little gown and I was 111, which is emergency services in my country. 111. I'm right now, give or take, that's waffling again, 108.4, 0.3, 108. I am noticing a lot of weight has moved though, and it is so, yeah. I have been walking, but I've also been stuck in that hospital bed rest, so which didn't help. But like 2 days ago I went for a couple of K walk with mum and my back is killing me. I can't take any of my anti-inflammatories for my back, so my back is killing me. After even sitting here, it's so sore, so tight. I wish I could take some of my anti-inflammatories again. I really do. I don't know when I'm allowed to take them either. So my weight, they say you can lose about 60% of your body weight from this surgery. So BMI books and everything say for my height to weight ratio, I should be 52 to 60 kgs. Just jump back on the bed. So I don't think I'm going to ever get to 52. I've actually got really wide shoulders, so there's probably not much chance of that happening. I'm not big boned though. Everyone's like, oh, you're big boned. No, I'm actually not. My hips are only like that far apart. I have wide shoulders. It's just all fat hanging off them. Like my wrists and everything. I've got little wee tiny. I've got midgy hands. My hands are tiny, like little midgy flies, like tiny. I can't even describe. I get Gatorade bottle. That might be generic. Look how small my hand is compared to that. Right around Yeah. Tiny little wee hands. I am small boned. I just have wide shoulders. So yeah, if I get to 75, I'm probably going to be happy, to be honest. I like to have a little bit of size, a little bit of shape. I don't think I want to be skinny. Define skinny. I don't know. I'd like to look healthy. I suppose I'd have to get to the weight to find out where I want to be happy at. Yeah. It's been a long time since I was skinny, like 5. When I was a kid, I was skinny, and I looked like I was anorexic, pretty much. My parents used to say when I'd have an asthma attack, the flesh between my ribs would just pop in and pop out, like go in like yay deep. I remember being able to put my fist, again I've got midgy hands, put my fist like this and put them in up underneath my rib cage and where my lungs are meant to be. I was that skinny, I was able to actually put my hands in underneath, so the rib cage would come down to here, kind of thing. That's how skinny I was. And then I got put on a massive amount of steroids for my asthma. And before you say steroids don't make you put on weight, not oral, like respiratory steroids, well, only thing that changed in my life was I was given medication. I was 5. I did not cook myself my own dinner. I did not I had no control over anything that would harm my weight. I still played. I still done everything I could do. The only difference is on steroids. And the first thing I was put on was, I think my parents told me it was like 3.5 times the dosage for an adult female per day. I was 3.5 times the adult dosage when I was 5, and I'm going to say I was probably like 30 fucking kg. I was not big. I was tiny. Oh, it would have been less than 30 kg. I don't know. But I was on prednisone all the time. I was taking blues daily for the next 20 years. Tell me that's not steroids. I was very active as a child. As active as I could be. I'd get home from school and I'd grab a fishing rod and head on down do some fishing, looking after the chickens. We'd go move the stock because we're on a farm. Yeah, we'd sit there and watch a little bit of TV and have a sandwich after school, but most people I knew did as well, so I don't know. They weren't all fat. Nothing changed in my life apart from the steroids. So I've actually always put it down to that. And saying that, my mum also thinks possibly maybe I was diabetic back then. Because, sorry, too much information, I know. I used to get thrush really bad as a kid because of all the steroids, and I was a Becotide kid, and Becotide was known for giving people thrush. Side effect of diabetes is thrush. Uncontrolled, I should say. So I don't know. I used to get dizzy all the time. I used to pretty much pass out all the time. Who really knows? All I know is when I was about 22 or 23, I went into the doctors and I said, hey, I think I'm diabetic, even though I've got a really bad STI. And they were like, "Oh, well, we'll test it, eh?" So they tested. "Oh, we're so glad we found this." I'm glad you found this too. It wasn't Dr. Google or anything. It was so you. Well done. Well done. So, and since then I've been uncontrolled, needed insulin, and still uncontrolled. My diabetes is very special. Yeah. I can't claim type 1 or type 2 because I don't produce enough insulin to be a type 2, but I don't have no insulin like a type 1. So I'm type 3, type 2.5, type 1.5, type what? So it's always really weird when people ask me, "What type of diabetic are you?" I'm like, yeah, both. Like, how am I meant to guess that when they can't even guess that? But I've now been told that there's a grey area in between, and they now diagnose people in the grey area. So it's like, yes, yay, we exist. We're not fake. Yeah. Oh, well, I've rambled enough. The cat has even moved on the bed. That's how bad it is. She, everywhere is her bed. Everywhere. So I better head off. Today is Tuesday. I have a 6:30 appointment phone call with the dietitian from Christchurch, and she's going to tell me I can eat what I've been eating. But I better get back to my food anyhow, because that cup of soup is getting cold. And sort of got to drink it. Okay, bye-bye.